So how's everyone doing tonight? Awesome. Good. Warm? Anybody sweating?
No.
How was the little ceremony outside for everyone?
Yeah.
Thank you again for that. That was very beautiful. Nice touch. So I'll introduce myself again. So my name is Sarge Hayden, and I will be your MC tonight and for the day tomorrow as well. My role should not be too significant. I'm just introducing people, keeping things flowing. If you have any questions, you can ask me, and I may have the answer, but I'll probably direct you to Alex over here. That wasn't on the script, Alex. We've got a great lineup, but I'd like to introduce the name of this conference. This is the 4th conference we've had for the Creating Caring Communities. And this is called the Pathways to Preferred Future, Options for Addictions Treatment. So I think it does speak for itself. It does say that we moved a long way. Of course, we always have little ways to go. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And before we go any further, I'd like to acknowledge the territory that we're on. I'd like to do that now. So Selkirk College is located in the West Kootenay and Boundary region of British Columbia. And we respectfully acknowledge the Sinixt, the Selkirk, the Secwepemc, and the Ktunaxa people, with whose traditional territory we're grateful to operate and to hold this conference. So I'd like to welcome our esteemed guest presenters, some of whom I've met here. I don't know if they're all here tonight, but they will be here for sure tomorrow, those who aren't. Some have traveled a long distance, so again, we appreciate that. To each of you, the attendees, for taking time out of your busy lives, we really appreciate your attendance. I think you're going to really be in for a treat here at this conference. And of course, the multiple organizers and volunteers put in timeless hours to make this all come together, so I just wanted to acknowledge that as well. So we have a number. You beat me too, because I actually have applause on here. Okay, good bunch here. So we have a number of engaging plenary speakers. As well, we're going to have some breakout sessions. That's all going to be seen in your conference registration packages. So if you don't have that, you'll want to crack that open and have a closer look. Those are going to have all the details, the plans for the presentations, and as well as the details of those topics and the bios for each of those. I'm just going to acknowledge a few housekeeping items before we move on. So for the breakout sessions, for those of you who have not signed up for one yet, I think you'd want to select one soon before they're all chosen. So I haven't looked at that list to see if they're all filled up yet, but there's only a number of seats in each one, so make sure you've done that if you haven't. So we're going to have a meal tomorrow, just acknowledging some of the food here. We're going to have snacks and tea and that kind of thing during the breaks, so take advantage of that. But tomorrow we will have a meal for lunch, just so you know you don't have to pack any food. Bathrooms, everyone's found the bathrooms okay? Just down the hall on the left? Yeah? Okay, that's pretty straightforward. A couple other housekeeping items here. Oh, we did that. Okay. Oh yes, of course. Big star beside this one. Evaluations. Have you all seen the evaluations in your packages? Please nod if you have seen them. You know about them? Okay, well now you know about them, in case you didn't. And we're asking, I'm nodding at you. Yeah. You're going to complete these, please, before you leave. They're really important, so we can get some feedback. So if you can complete them as you go, it kind of helps, but however which way you want to do it is up to you. But please, before you leave, remember to pass us your evaluations, and I'll probably remind you again about that. So, I think that's it for now. Without further ado then, I would like to introduce Alex. Okay.
Hi all, I just got a couple of minutes here and a couple of things to say. I just wanted to acknowledge the Creating Caring Communities conference members, and I mean, we've worked pretty hard to get this together since last summer, and I'm just going to name off some of the folks that were part of this. Susan Van Assel, and she works with mental health and substance use. Jennifer Preston, mental health and substance use. Juanita Kipp from Coins, Circle of Indigenous Nations. Brianne Underwood, mental health and substance use. Wendy Byrne, Freedom Quest. Lori Swanson, mental health and substance use. Kate Armstrong, Selkirk College. Monique Lalonde, Selkirk College. Randy Francis, she's our social work practicum student, and we saw her at the registration table. And Michelle Moran is also a social work practicum student. Zach Matiashan, a nurse practitioner, and Brian LeBlanc, who is a PEEPS member, which is a Peer Engagement Evaluation Project, and of course Sarge Hayden, our MC. I also wanted to mention a few things about like why we're doing this, right? And like we've had over 2,000 people die in Canada last year. I don't know the exact number, but it was a lot of people in regards to overdose. In BC here, 922 people. And then 1 month in March 2017, it was like 120 people died in BC.
146 in December in Vancouver.
Crazy amount of people. And on top of that, there's an incredible amount of overdoses where people have actually survived due to the availability of naloxone. And so we're at a critical point in Canada regarding addictions here. We need to be vigilant, and we need to continue work to keep drugs and addiction and through a public health lens. This crisis could easily be swayed to be even more criminalized, and in fact, it can fill our prisons with the people who are struggling to survive through our addictions. The people at the top of the trafficking chain are rarely caught and have an extreme amount of resources to weasel their way up when they do get caught. It's our people that we have to be careful about, that we don't start throwing people in jail. It is a critical time. There's a lot of upset people, and they should be upset about what's happening. So public opinion could be used in a good way, but it could also be going in the opposite direction. And so the reason why we have this conference is it's not a one shoe that fits all. We need to look at other options, or as many options as we can. So with that, please enjoy your conference, and the evaluations are really important for the Creating Caring Communities. In the future, we will be holding a regional meeting, and it's not going to be a big conference, but we try to hold 1 or 2 a year and discuss issues in our communities and have some educational events with that and so on. So please fill them out. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Alex. So we've got a few local treatment updates. We're just going to go through, I think we've got half a dozen of them here. So one at a time. I'd first like to introduce Cheryl Dowden to come up to the mic and share something about that.
It's always so fun to go first. Thank you, Alex, for what you said about what's happening in the province of BC and in Canada in general. I just want to acknowledge that. And we had Eugene Ascapella come and speak to us several years ago at this conference, and he spoke about drug policy and the war on drugs and the impact of the war on drugs. And I just want to acknowledge that this is why we're here. And I also want to acknowledge the people in the room that are in the trenches every single day. I want to first acknowledge the peers, the REDUN members, the Rural Empowered Drug Users Network, Van Du and Wars came all the way from, members came all the way from Vancouver. Thank you for being here. And for the outreach workers and the frontline workers who are being impacted every day as well for the work that you're doing supporting people. And then I just want to honor people that have passed through this war on drugs. I also want to say that there are some things that are happening that are hopeful, and I'm hoping that what we're participating in right now in terms of the adult or the Kootenay Boundary adult support treatment beds are something that we can offer this community, and I think it's a small way, it's a small start of contributing to some resources that are really badly needed for our community. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with our program, it's fairly new. It's been up and operating since February. I think we had the first person in one of the beds in February. It's an 8-bed supported independent living program. It's located in Nelson for residents of the Kootenay Boundary region. It's for people who require housing and supports while receiving treatment for unwanted substance use. So supportive residential programs are suitable for people who require low, moderate intensity of services, and the program provides safe, substance-free accommodation and a level of support appropriate for longer-term recovery from unwanted substance use. Typically, supportive residential programs are less intensive than residential treatment, and supportive residential programs focus on education and life skills trainings that will help the participant to reintegrate successfully into the community. So as you all know, it's really hard when you're returning from a treatment program to a small community and you don't have a place to live. So this program actually provides some housing with supports while people are working on their wellness goals, and they're also getting clinical support from mental health and substance use. I just want to point out we've got a couple of the life skills workers here in the room tonight, so I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but we have Jasmine McMeekin, and we have Jeremy Kelly, and we have Raul Giuliano. And Julia Gerlitz is the clinical support worker from Nelson Mental Health and Substance Use. Nicole Brown, she'll be here tomorrow, and she's the program manager. And some of you from Selkirk College may know her because she has been a nursing instructor here at the college for quite a number of years. So when we were putting together this program, we obviously knew we couldn't do this alone. We needed to do this in collaboration with some strong community partners. And as probably some of you are aware, Nelson has a really tight housing market, but Nelson Cares has been a provider of affordable housing and subsidized housing in the area for a number of years. And so they had real expertise and knowledge around that housing piece. And so we came to the table together and we decided we were going to do this together. And Nelson Cares came up with the housing. So we have 3 different sites, and there are 3 beds in 2 of the sites and 2 beds in one of the other sites. One of the things that we also wanted to consider was often it's really challenging for women to find places where they can go for treatment, or they have to wait a long time to get into a treatment center. We wanted to make sure that we had spaces available for women, for men, and for folks who identify as non-binary and transgender. And then also we wanted to consider families. So, providing an option, for example, for somebody to come into this program who might want to be housed with their child or their family. So these were all things that we wanted to consider in the program. So 3 partners, and what is the program criteria? Okay, so it's for adults who are 19 and older, and like I said, there is the ability to accommodate a parent-child situation, whose substance use impacts the person's life in a way that it's unwanted or negative, and that's self-identified. The participant is ready and motivated to make changes in their relationship with substances, and they do not require medically supported withdrawal management. And I'm sure you've all heard that there are detox beds coming for this community, and so I'm sure there will be more information coming forward as those get rolling, which I understand is fairly soon. And those will be located in Castlegar. And that people are able to live independently and safely with other people, and that they reside in the Kootenai boundary region. And so how does someone get referred to the program? We have, by the way, there's some literature on the program at the Anchors kiosk booth in the other room. And there's a nice little referral pathway schema that you can have a look at. But generally speaking, this program is for the boundary region and the West Kootenai. So someone would go and have an intake with mental health and substance use in their area. They would see, they would go through the intake process, and then they would be referred on to Julia Gerlitz. And she would do the initial interview and recommend the person for the program. However, we know that for some people, it may not be comfortable to go through mental health and substance use. So, if you're a service provider and somebody comes to you and they're interested in this program, you can support them to contact Julia Gerlitz, and she's willing to come and meet people where they feel more comfortable, if that's in a community-based organization. So that's it.
Thank you, Cheryl. That was a great update. I think a number of people have been wondering what that actually looks like. We're hearing about these things. It's in the media, but that was a good overview. So, next, we're going to have Jen Preston come up and talk about the Addictions Day Treatment Program.
So I'm Jen Preston. I'm with the Addictions Day Treatment Program here in Castlegar. So this is the 9th year the program has been running, and it's been delivered in many different ways over the last 9 years. So right now we're doing a 4-week group. So people come in 4 weeks, about 10 to 15 people at a time, and then 4 days a week and 4 hours per day. So people have been really finding that the structure and the routine of coming in and finding day treatment, the psychoeducation that's provided, the group therapy that's out there, has been really supportive for people. And this day treatment also acts as a step up and step down for other residential programs throughout the continuum of addiction. It also really supports the program that Cheryl just introduced, the Support Recovery Program up in Nelson. The clients that have come through so far this year have shown some great changes and real success, and the programs are just a really nice fit. So we're really happy to have these two programs working together. It's been a really nice addition. Also with the day treatment, people are practicing skills and addiction, substance use right out of their home community. So they can go home on the weekends, go home at night, really try to practice these skills, integrate them, and come back the next week and see what has worked and what hasn't worked. These kind of changes are more long-term, and it seems to really work for people. There's also a healthy lunch that's offered every day, so people are encouraged to do exercise, to do art activities. We also have acupuncture from Shauna Robertson in Nelson, and yoga for recovery, and that's with Jody Ayas and Leah Jackson has been supporting that. The short stay housing is also something that is offered with the day treatment program, so people are able to actually stay in Castlegar. The program reaches all of the West Kootenay boundary, so if people are coming from Grand Forks or Nakusp, they're able to stay in the apartments that we have here in Castlegar while they're attending the program. Bus tickets and gas subsidy is also there to support people in their attendance. So when the group comes together, the group connectivity is really important. So in the room, in the treatment, it's called intensive day treatment, and it really is this intense kind of 4-week program. So when people are coming in, we like to screen carefully for readiness, really make sure that people are ready to make some changes, really want to be there, and then when that group comes together, it creates a space for people to open up, to change, to be vulnerable, to really start to share some of the deep root causes of what's led them to substance misuse in their life. Near the end of the 4-week program, or at the end, the last day, we do sort of a graduation ceremony, and often people have said to me numerous times now that it feels like family by the end. That group connection has been so important to them. It's really so important to have that support. There's often tears, it's a special time for people to come together. Another thing, I guess, is Laurie Swanson, who's another co-facilitator for the program. She put together a report earlier this year, and she was comparing the other treatment centers across British Columbia, including Hartwood and Bridgeway, and she found that the day treatment program that we're offering here in Castlegar is actually up to par. The material, the program delivery is up to par. It's just as good as what's happening in the bigger urban centers. So we're really quite proud of this program. And there's been a lot of, excuse me, a lot of work from all the clinicians, all the care providers in the area to really make this a success and keep this program happening in Castlegar. What else was I going to say? Oh, this summer. So yesterday we just finished a really great family workshop. And it's a workshop called Understanding Addiction, and it's for family and friends. A lot of really good information out there. The participants really appreciated it. And this summer we plan to bring the workshop and some of our information up to Grand Forks, Nakusp, Salmo. We're going to kind of travel around and make those connections with the bigger service area, and just making that referral pathway really easy so people are able to access as much as possible. I just wanted to acknowledge too Susan Van Asselt. She's been a facilitator for a few years with the day treatment program, and she's done a lot of excellent work, actually really advocating for this program and keeping it up and running. So really appreciate her efforts. So thank you, Susan. Okay, then thanks very much.
That's great, thanks, Jen. See, little Castlegar is rocking it. That's pretty cool. Okay. So I want to introduce Wendy Burney, and Wendy's going to tell us a little bit about the regional alcohol and drug day treatment.
So I want to talk a little bit about Freedom Quest Youth Services Society, just to make everyone aware of the programs that we offer. So we work with youth from the ages of 12 to 24. Typically we go to 19, but sometimes we take them on a little longer and help support them into adult services. We have the RAD program, which is the Regional Alcohol and Day Treatment Program for Youth. Cindy Copley is the one who runs that program. And it's very supportive it's just, here we go. A 6-week program for youth, 3 days per week. 1 day is dedicated to therapeutic recreational activities. The youth voluntarily participate in the program, but they can be referred by professionals, parents, as well as self. Transportation is provided, and the model of the program is pretty much resembles the adult day treatment program. So if you wanted to get more information about it specifically, we're sharing the booth with the adult day treatment program table out there where you can get more information. We also have substance use counselors, outreach counselors, which I am one of for Castlegar and Nakusp, and Shannon for Caslow, and River for Trail, back up there. And Lee, Begg, and Grand Forks, but I don't believe he's here today. And we also have a concurrent disorder worker who works with people with mental health challenges as well as substance use. And I think that's it. Yeah? Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Wendy. Right now, I'd like to introduce Juanita Kipp from the Circle of Indigenous Nations, COINS.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Bev, waving. You're so good. It's nice to see everybody tonight. I just would like to see a raise of hands who knows about COINS. Yeah, awesome. Almost everybody in here. Yeah, I think that says a lot to the work that our agency is doing. Maybe just a brief rundown though. Anyway, we are a First Nations agency that offers services to non-Indigenous and Indigenous people, and we believe that the First Nations harm is really a wound for all of us to address, and that's why we are an open circle. And we offer all kinds of different programs, including early intervention and the Healing Our Spirits program, which is the mental health and addictions piece. And we offer a Reconnecting Youth to Culture program. And throughout the year, we do different groups like women's groups, gift-making groups. We do drum circles once a month. And we have Aboriginal Family Services Development Program, which is outreach and case management and lots of pieces there. But let's talk about the Healing Our Spirits program for a second. And this is the mental health and addictions piece. And it says in the schedule that one of the breakout sessions is a talking circle healing. And it's kind of a typo, but I really like that typo. It is a healing circle, and it is a sharing circle, and it's our traditional way of healing. We come together, and everybody is equal in their vulnerability, and their joys, and their pain, and bringing in spirit to the healing process, which a lot of times in our clinical work we don't do, and we really want to attend to that holistically. And it's a really beautiful thing, and COINS has grown exponentially throughout the 3.5 years, is that right? That we've been around? Yeah. We offer healing circles twice a month in Nakusp and Grand Forks and Nelson and Trail, Castlegar, hopefully Caslo and Selma soon, crossing our fingers. And part of that is individual counseling for anybody who needs additional support after the circles. The circles are 2 hours long, and there's always food and drumming and prayer and ceremony. And we take a break halfway through, and there's always elders holding the space. COINS is governed, if you can even use that word, by our generous and kind elders in the communities, and they come together and help us guide the agency with as much respect to all nations and the traditional people of this territory and traditional healing methods. Yeah, so I feel like that's probably a pretty good rundown. I only just found out that I was supposed to be giving an update, so if anybody has questions, please let me know. We have a booth out there, and we'll be around all day tomorrow. Thank you.
That was a pretty good impromptu update.
All right.
Thanks, Anita. Okay, and finally, for this section, I'd like to invite up Tara Emery with opioid substitute treatment.
Thanks. It's nice to be applauded on your way up. So I work with Dr. Kalia in the back there and Vince as well. So I guess we're coming from the medical team here, trying to work on what's been happening with fentanyl here. So I started working with Dr. Kalia about 2 years ago, and we really got hit with the whole fentanyl crisis. And it's been really heartbreaking to see what's been happening to our community. So I appreciate everybody here who's sharing what they're sharing and trying to work together. Great to have those beds up in Nelson. So I just wanted to let everybody know what we offer and how to access us. We work out of Anchors now. We are there every Friday doing the opiate replacement program. So we do, anyone who's not familiar with Suboxone, we do Suboxone treatment as well as methadone. So anybody who's struggling with opiate dependence, we use those to help them manage the withdrawal symptoms, help them stabilize. We try to really be harm reduction focused, so we're a multidisciplinary team. I'm a social worker, and we have 2 outreach workers now, which is amazing. We've got Alex, and also Laura Often from Anchors works with us. And that's been amazing because that's helped us a lot with treatment referrals. You know, we were just sort of running around just trying to manage with the volume of people coming through. And fortunately, in this last year, we got Dr. Vance and Dr. Jans, who are also doing the opiate replacement now, so that's helped. We have referred some of our people to those doctors. We are always sort of accepting referrals, especially if somebody is in crisis, if there's someone you're really worried about. Do give our clinic a call at RISE. So our clinic is called the RISE Wellness Clinic, but we work out of Anchors when we're doing the addictions part. So we do sort of a pain, addictions trio through our clinic. Yeah, we are a voluntary harm reduction team, and naloxone, I guess I should mention naloxone. We're one of the places that initially people could come to access naloxone. Now I think it's available in most places, but it is free through our clinic. If you do know anyone who's using opiates, please come and see us. Yeah, oh, I wanted to mention sort of about Suboxone, just in case anybody wasn't really aware. It's sort of the newer methadone that we're using a lot for withdrawal. It's been really helpful with what's been happening with fentanyl, just because it is a lot safer. It's really hard to overdose on, unlike methadone. Methadone, a lot of the overdoses we've seen were mixing benzos, so things like Ativan and Valium, with alcohol. Suboxone is a safer medication that we're using more often if we can. It's one of the tricky ones that you've probably heard. People have to actually go into withdrawal to start it because it has naloxone in it. So naloxone, that antidote to keep someone from overdosing on opiates, it actually has that ingredient in it, which means if you take it when you still have opiates in your system, it can send you into withdrawal, which makes people very uncomfortable. Yeah. Anything else to add, Joel?
Not exactly how it works. Pharmacology. Everyone wants to know how this Suboxone works. Please come talk to me after. It's a complicated medication.
Complicated medication. Yeah. Yeah, but definitely we've been having a lot more success with it than methadone. We're seeing it as a safer medication out there. Methadone is definitely something that is a concern to see out on the streets, which means there's many more regulations that we have to follow at our clinic. So yeah, Suboxone is sort of the new kid that we're using a lot to try to work with fentanyl and try to treat fentanyl overdoses. Yeah.